Hello. Hello. I think I'm live here. Just bear with me. This is the first time that I've ever gone live. So the technology for me as I'm learning is new. It's definitely an uncomfortable change for me. I know I'm a couple minutes late here. But that's okay. I'm here and welcome to the first episode of Tough Talks. I'm going to go live every Thursday at noon. Okay, and I wasn't planning on doing this. Just like pretty much everything with Turnleaf, I wasn't planning on going live. I wasn't planning on, for those who that follow me, I wasn't planning on doing the I hope you can hear me. I wasn't planning on doing the top 10 for 30. And really what came in for me a couple weeks ago was get live. Actually, the exact phrase that kept on popping in, typically in the morning when I'm just getting out of Delta stage here, and it was Thursdays at noon. Thursdays at noon, and also for those that have been following me, I get this guidance. I always have, but it's definitely a lot more strong these days. And if I don't follow it, it just gets louder and louder and louder and louder. So a lot of my content, much of Turnleaf, is really co-created by the intuition and the guidance and the thoughts that come in for me. You can call it guides, you can call it angels, you can call it your God, your universe, what have you. But you really, what was coming in was, Thursday at noon. And so once I ask, it's, get live Thursdays at noon. I've done a few recordings, good start. I launched in November. Just a little bit of a background here. I am an addiction specialist by trade. Every day I've been a counselor for many years here. Also life coach. And the work that I do in my everyday job is counsel people. Okay. And I have your typical 8 to 12 clients. I work for a great agency in my community. And ultimately, as I, was continuing education and, getting more letters beside my name and, getting my master and, all the things that we do, that we're told that we should do to align with our purpose. And my purpose is service. My purpose is to help others. And so what came in for me a few years ago, because I had a whole other plan, was to start my own practice. But it was online. And this was like 2019, 2020. And so I wanted the experiences that I have with my clients, family, friends, myself. I bring it into my work. I'm very much, I like to associate real life, real experiences that I've been through and apply it. And then of course the skill that we learned, the theory behind psychology and behavior and such, and all the years of schooling that we get to learn methods and practices and tools and such. And although I do combine much of that in my work, of course, and in my session styles, I do have a little bit of a different approach. And what that does look like is incorporating conversation with my clients. And over the years, I've gotten some great feedback in that regards. It's you're different. I've never had a session like this before. I'm comfortable. I get to kind of be myself. I get to really feel my emotions. I'm pretty raw in sessions sometimes. And my personality, just to give you a little bit, is, although I do follow what is supposed to be, done in sessions, and by all means, I also like to color outside the lines as well. Okay. And I really do think, because I do that, and I've been doing this for a little bit, so I practice with it. And I feel real in these conversations and within these sessions. My clients do. And I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more for the collective. And I wanted to help impact more than just, my 8 to 12 clients per se. And I don't want to say just, because by all means, over the years, that number has multiplied. But with a platform like social media, although I'm continuing to get comfortable with it, it's different, and I'm guided to do this. This is my purpose. And so what these tough talks are is really, it's going to be spontaneous. Every Thursday at noon, for those of you that want to jump on, I'll take questions, but nothing is going to be scripted. Nothing is going to be scheduled. I'm going to come on, and I'm going to meet myself where I'm at that day. I will tell stories. I will give personal experiences, life experiences. Again, I'm fortunate because I do counsel, so I can bring in those experiences as well, because the real life shit that my clients are going through right now are examples that we're all going through. And so I really do want to bring that into these tough talks. Okay. And will there be some, vulgarity? Yep. Yes, there will be some vulgarity. It's when I'm in flow, whatever comes up. Typically it's out of humor or passion. My style, like I said, it's what you see is what you get. And I ask the tough questions. I love feedback. I like to have conversation. I like to challenge the narrative. I like challenging situations. And that's why when I come on Thursdays, it's going to be typically an hour. I'll allot the hour. I'm not going to go above the hour, because like I said, I gotta work, I got my full-time gig as well. But I will allot the hour. I may go less depending on what that looks like. But I don't want it to be scripted. I want to be able to be raw in my approach and in my support here. And what I have to say is important, and that's not going to come from me planning for hours. I journal a lot. Many things do come in for me as the weeks, the days, even from morning to afternoon can look completely different for me. And if something does come in, or if contrast does happen, if I'm in a shitty experience or mood or whatever that looks like, and if I come on Thursday and that's the experiences that I've had that week, I'm going to share that. I'm going to share because we're feeling there's a lot of people that are feeling alone right now. Okay. And a lot of emotions, confusion. Yes, the sun is out. It's beautiful today. We are March 13th. The sun, it's going to be like 30 here today. So the weather is quite funky, I must say. But yes, the sun is out, so your mood may be, you know, a little bit more elevated because of the vitamins we're getting from the beautiful sun. However, as a collective, you know, we need to do this together. We need to do this together. And just because I'm a counselor and you know, I've got that status, I think if anything, I'm better equipped to be able to support the collective and be able, because of the skill that I have, combined with my life experiences and the shit that I go through, which is constant. But that's real life. That's life. This is life. And so if I can come on here and I could say, you know, hey, this is what I've went through. This is my mindset. This is what I'm experiencing. This is my opinion about it. This is my recommendation about it, based on what my clients have been through and based on what I've been through. I think you can't have it just one-sided. You've got to have both. And I think that's what's I have no clue. Okay, something just popped up. Anyways, I hope I'm still good. My recorder looks like it's still on. But we've got to do this together. And I think because of what I do and the life that I've had, I've got to share that. And I've got a gift to give, and I've got support to give. I've got love to give. And that's what these talks are, to help create awareness of what you are going through on a daily basis with many different examples. I mean, I've heard and seen a lot. So I'm going to be able to bring that in and share and give, you know, give recommendations, hold space, start the conversation. Okay. And that's what this is about. That's exactly what this is about. To be able to normalize, like just feel normal in our moods. Historically, when we have felt anxiety or in a low vibe, we've been in shame, and we've been in judgment, resentment, rage. You know, we want to run from that because we have been brought up to and taught to avoid these feelings. All right. And this is a place where we don't avoid these feelings. This is a place where I want to talk about the feelings. I want to talk about it, and I want to tear it apart. I want to be able to normalize what we're going through here. Okay. And be able to just meet the week, the day where it is at. All right. And I've got programming within Turn Leaf Movement. I run programming. I got a ebook series that is going to be coming up. So that's all fun and dandy. Yes, that's going to be, I'm going to roll that out, but this doesn't change. The Thursdays at noon does not change. It also allows me to be consistent and accountable to what I have committed to. Okay. And throughout, especially the last couple months, if those of you have caught my last video, I mean, holy moly, there's been some internal work, some heavy internal work for myself. And much of that came from a place controlling everything outside of myself to feel safe, right? And that has a lot to do with my upbringing and what has happened to me in my life. So you can pick apart, I can, because I've gotten pretty good at it. However, it's sneaky and it creeps up sometimes and I don't even realize it. So I know I'll use the word heal once in a while in my content, but we evolve. There's always change. Okay. And so there's constant change. So, but what that's gonna look like for myself and coming into this is you're gonna see the authentic, real stuff that I go through on a regular basis. And I denied that for myself for many, 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 many years. And it was time to, well, I actually wasn't even, there's no time. You resist, and then you can see the patterns of, I'm big on, controlling everything outside myself, like I spoke of. That caused a lot of resistance because I can't change and control others. And so that caused some resistance, resistance in relationships, caused resistance in kids, ultimately it's a lot of resistance in myself. And so being able to come to this spot here and say, you know what, today I'm not feeling okay. I'm not feeling okay today because I'm committed to the Thursdays, and there's some mornings that I wake up. I'm in a low vibe, not in the mood. I'm not motivated, and there's a reason for that though. So when I am in a low vibe and when we are emotional, when we are feeling, when we're triggered, that's an opportunity for us to say, okay, what's going on for me? This is what I'm feeling. Awareness is number one. Number one is awareness. And I discussed this in my last video, I believe. Number one is awareness, being aware that you're feeling it. You're doing the things that you're doing. You're coping the way you're coping, whether that be through drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, shopping, eating. There's always an underlying reason why we do these things. Anger, emotions, all that stuff. So when we're triggered, I'm able to sit and to look at it. I'm able to say, okay, this is coming up for me. Somebody needs to hear it maybe. Okay, because it's energy, right? Energy never stays in one place. So this is coming in for me. I'm experiencing this right now, and somebody may need to hear what I'm experiencing, or what maybe a client is experiencing, and bring that to the forefront. Bring that to the forefront and say, this is what's going on, and let's talk about this, and then you'll get something from it. And then you're not feeling so alone with this. Because the one thing that's guaranteed is, low vibe feelings, impatience, hate, rage, procrastination. You name it. I have an emotional compass scale that I've created, of course, based on the Hertz scale, that I've kind of reshifted, and I've added a lot of things with emotions that you can see from love to fear. There's so many different emotions, but being able to come into a space, whether it be on the Thursdays or whether it be with yourself at home, and being able to sit and being aware of, yeah, today is not a good day for me. Today I'm feeling anxiety. Today I am unhappy in my marriage. Today I am broke. I can't afford to eat. I've got kids that I lost my job, you name it. We are going to cover all of it. Trauma, that's a big one. That's a really big one, and everybody's traumatized. So every experience is different for everybody, but we have all experienced some trauma. We have all been in a place and in a scenario and an experience where that has embedded beliefs in us. That was the starting of a belief system. Okay. And I'm sure there's big events. Sure, there's big scenarios. I mean, talking actual like scenarios and events that are, some of these stories and experiences are isolated. That you can see as the years go on. Excuse me. Talk with my hands a lot. You can see as the years go on, if you kind of observe yourself and your behavior, your triggers, your patterns, your relationships, you can pin it back to these events or their little droplet, their little drops. So it's that drip exposure. And little, our parents especially, our teachers, our systems, when we're little, we depend on everybody around us. And what happens is, because of the trauma that they've experienced and the stories that they've been told and the expectations that they have had, they bring it to you, maybe a little bit different, because you're going to hear even from your parents or your caregivers is, oh, you should have seen what I went through. Not even half the same as that, or not even close to what you're going through right now. And that alone comes with confusion and shame from the child and the parent. But we do the best we can with what we have, right? It may not have been your fault of what has happened to you. And it's not your responsibility from what has happened to you, but it's definitely your responsibility today on what you're going to do with it. Okay? And that's what this is for. That's what the tough talks are for. And yes, we need to respect ourselves within these platforms and the comments and such. Absolutely, there is respect there. However, when somebody is angry with themselves and angry and telling and showing their stories, I may bring people on depending on what that looks like. Again, it's all in flow. Nothing is planned. So, but I hold space for that. I hold space for the anger. I hold space for the resentment. I hold space for feedback, confusion. I hold space to be challenged. I like to be challenged. I like to be challenged in life. And I like to be challenged with scenarios. People have a million different experiences, there's so many different experiences and timelines to tap into. That's the beauty about being in this beautiful dimension and earth. But there's been challenges over the years that I've had with my clients. And that's why I think I wanted to do it spontaneously, because the work that I do in addiction and mental health and acting as a life coach, there's no plan. Yes, I know my clients, absolutely, but there's from one day to the other, there can be a scenario and experience that is quite challenging. And I like to be in it with them, experiencing it with them. And so I'll space for that. Okay. And I'll bring all that. But yes, being respectful in these on this platform with comments during video, absolutely. I mean, confidentiality, I don't have to talk about that. We know that, like, what we share is what I want to share. It's my business. You don't, it's live, but let's be respectful. You know what I mean? Whoever's not on the live, I mean, let's be respectful. Okay. And I'll take comments. I have some topics that I was given by clients and by people that private commented, the last video that I had. And I think I touched base on that in my little 30-minute clip, about being in resistance of different approaches to when we are feeling something. I enjoy acknowledging where they're at. I enjoy acknowledging where I am at and not trying to fix it so much. And if you go back to the last video, I believe it was called "This Had to Be Said." That's going to cover all that, because really, and I've done this for years, but as of recently, and February was a big month for me, I chimed in a little bit. But because I did such a good job at avoiding sitting in my shit and feeling my feelings and being perfect for myself and everybody around me, and February literally put me into a mode of it literally paralyzed me emotionally and physically for weeks. I couldn't deny it. And the message that was coming in for me was stay present with yourself. Stay present with yourself. And so I've been doing that. I've been staying present with myself. But what I've also been noticing while I'm in sessions, although before, absolutely, I listen. Absolutely, I practice effective listening and such, and did all the skills of interviewing as best as I can anyways. I'm definitely not perfect. But what I noticed I was doing as I reflect back on all scenarios was I was actually trying to fix those really, really, really tough times. And I'm talking about, sexual abuse, physical abuse, overdoses, deaths, and them just sobbing and being so enraged and angry and confused. And I would kind of slip in, and my energy, if anything, would be that of trying to stop it, fix it. And we always say, don't give a tissue to a crying client, right? Crying patient, because it stops them from feeling. And sure, we've been taught this and we know it. But because we are human, we want to help and we want to fix. And we get scared and we get nervous because of our upbringing and saying, don't feel, don't feel, don't feel. Because we were taught, quit your crying and put a smile on, and you complain too much, or, from the way you dressed, from the way you spoke, from the way you were told. And so, when somebody is behaving and feeling like I'm explaining, it's extremely uncomfortable. And so what I've been doing is I have literally been just allowing and holding space and acknowledging, yes, this is how you are feeling. This is perfect for you. And they look at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's perfect for me. You're feeling something today. You're feeling it today. Because before, especially with my clients, if they're angry and enraged, they're going to use. They're going to go use. They're going to go cope. Okay? And what we do, many of us in this profession, in addiction, in mental health, society and the communities and the systems have done a really good job of saying, you don't, like, you're a drug addict. That's bad. Shame on you for that. And that enrages me. Because if we can't be there, no wonder they're using some of these stories and experiences that these people have had, and they've been shunned and they have been shut down. They haven't been heard or seen. No wonder they're getting high. No wonder, and just what popped in my head here was eating disorders and what we do to our bodies. Well, if you go back to what the individual has experienced in their life, if you go back to these stories, no wonder they're out of their bodies. If it's sexual abuse, no wonder they're out of their bodies and they're trying to control something. And that's eating, for example. They're trying to control something because when they were abused at an earlier age or whatever, it could have been last year, it could have been, but when you are in trauma like that, you remove yourself from your body to feel safe. But then what happens is you feel so out of control up here that you start counting calories, you start purging, and then that's why and that it just came up for me. So obviously somebody needed to hear this. But instead of being judged and shamed and forced to change, what you are doing right now is bad. You're homeless. They know they're homeless. They know all the things that you are telling them. They know it. They already know it. And so when you pile that up on them, it just literally creates more resistance in their world. And the minute that we can start holding space and love and show compassion and say, you are human, you're gonna see a shift in how they see themselves. And this doesn't happen overnight, of course. Like the beliefs that came in throughout the years, it took practice to be a drug addict. It took practice to be an abuser. It took practice to practice lack of self-worth. If you've noticed, when somebody with anxiety, for example, that just doesn't happen overnight. You got, because of the external world around you, and then you're taking everything outside yourself and you're putting it here. Because of that, that's gonna, again, that drip exposure of feeling you don't feel safe. And so that creates anxiety for you. All right. So if I can hold space, if I could provide a safe space, and that's what Tough Talks are. I'm not here to lecture. I'm here to sit in the shit with you, is really what I am. And I'm here to have the brave conversations, say the things that we don't want to say, create the scenarios that we don't want to create, because I'm pretty good at looking at a scenario and asking those open-ended questions and creating, looking at what the probability of the next couple weeks, months, and years are going to look if this is the vibration and the energy that you're going to stay in. Okay. And I want to shift. I want to shift. Consciousness is shifting anyways. Energy is shifting. It doesn't stay in one place. We are shifting. You can look at what is going on in the world right now. We are 2023, March 2023. You can see what's going on in the world right now. We've been through a lot in the last few years. A lot. Okay? That's not going anywhere anytime fast. All right? And sure, we can focus and engage on all the things that are not good, that are corrupt, that are whatever you want to focus on. Okay? You're not wrong. Be aware of it. But when we start consuming the things outside of ourselves, like the systems, like healthcare, like education, like our government, like blah, blah. I mean, I can go on and on and on. That's everything outside yourself. And if you're focusing on this and it's not making you feel very good, being aware of it, that's one thing. Awareness is huge. Actually, that's the definition of raise in consciousness. It's awareness. Okay, but the trick is everything that we know, everything that we learn, everything that we come across, we're able to ultimately check in with ourselves and see how we're feeling about it and then make decisions based on that. Being able to work on ourselves. You can bitch and moan about relatives and how they are not doing this or how they're doing this. You can focus on everybody outside of yourself. Come back to yourself and see how that feels. It's going to be scary. Once you start looking at your shit, fuck man, like it just doesn't. But the beautiful thing about it is though, that awareness piece, it's uncomfortable. Absolutely, it's very uncomfortable. It hurts. But that's the awareness of it. We're hurt anyways. We're not doing, many of us are not doing well anyways. And if we appear well, chances are there's avoidance there. Everything is okay. Everything is fine. I was guilty of that for many, many years. Everything's good. Great. All right. And so once we could quiet the noise and what we are focusing on, again, awareness is key. But once we start getting into bed with some of these stories that are happening outside of ourselves, that are happening in the world, once we get into bed with it and we feel it, that's the frequency that we hold. Anger, resistance, trying to shake family and friends, telling you can't see it. They're looking at you like you're nuts. You can't control anybody else. You just can't. You're not wrong, but you can't control what your kids, if you have a belief and they should be doing something or not doing something. And you see it with your kids. Yes, we have to keep them safe by all means. But if we're trying to change the world, you're going to feel that. You're going to see it on your face. You're going to see it in the things that you eat. You're going to feel hopeless and out of control. The things going on in the world will change. Again, nothing stays the same. But it's bigger than we are. It's bigger than we are. And we're at a time right now, the beauty of this pandemic and this time and this shift, the beauty of it is that awareness. And then we get to say, what kind of life do I want to live? We've kind of been shooken up here we've been like a popcorn machine. Shit has been shooken up in the last couple of years. So many different examples of how unwell people are. But the beauty of it is, though, if we focus on how unwell we are, we're going to feel unwell. The other side of it is being aware of it and then looking and saying, okay, what can I do for myself? And start shifting that focus. I spent a couple years really being aware of everything that was around me and what was going on and everything. And by all means, I'm grateful for it, but I had to shut it down. I had to shut it down because my time was up for it. And what it was doing, it was actually creating resistance in my life. And what that taught me, then I'm grateful for the universe for this and this experience, this world experience. I'm grateful for it because without it really shaking my world up and triggering me and enraging me and challenging me, I've never been really good at being told what to do. So can you imagine me in these lockdowns and such? All right. But I thank it for that. I thank it for that, for what has happened, because without that, I wouldn't have been able to look inside me and what I'm going through. And the anger, the control, the fear of abandonment, so many different things, and getting back to the kid part. Sure, we try to control the systems and we're angry with the healthcare system and we're angry, blah, blah, blah. We're angry with it all. Sure, yes. Okay, let's be angry. And what are we going to do to go on? Because we got to look at where we are at and what we are capable of do. We have freedom. We have free will. Okay. But getting back to the kids, we can't change the kids. We cannot change our kids. And they are, in 2023, I've got 3 kids, all under the age of 7. Okay. I got 2 girls and a boy, and they are independent. They are sassy. They are challenging. All right. And because of my upbringing and feeling unsafe much of the times, I do have a tendency to control. Okay. And I get angry. There's a no hitting, no spanking rule in my home. Although my husband says I'm changing the rule because there's challenging times sometimes, and I'll get into that. Once talk about real tough talks, the parents that are on my platform, stay tuned for some of the real, and I've got some good stuff. I've got some good remedies. I've got some good tools. As I shifted through my own personal experiences with these kids, and I definitely analyze the behavior of kids in general. I love studying behavior, so that's including kids. I know it's sick. But what came up for me this week, I don't know if it was the residue of the full moon or what that looked like, but I was just enraged, just really, really, really angry. And although I don't spank, and I'm going to be raw here, although I don't spank, I yell, and I have a stern, assertive voice. Okay, so that they know if I'm assertive or if I'm angry, okay, and aggressive. There's a difference there because yes, I'm assertive. I do hold that tone quite well. But there's times when I'm feeling like I'm out of control, aggression comes in, and I see that in myself. And it was pretty strong this week. It was a busy weekend. We were, full house, so grateful for it. Beautiful Easter weekend. But like come Tuesday, they were exhausted. They were overstimulated. Okay. And I had a hard time holding space for that. And as I sat in the anger, because I did lash out. Okay. And apologies had to happen after. And, I felt some shame after. However, instead, I went to shame minimally. Before, that would have been a full day of, oh no, I yelled at the kids. Like, oh God, I hate doing that. The shame, the judgment would have came in. I'm traumatizing them. I'm writing on their blueprint of life on how they're I'm teaching them how to behave. I'm teaching them how to interact and how to effective communicate. Like that would have been my story. I want to say before February was like, I swear to God, I catapulted into a different dimension. But this time around, I caught myself doing it. And then what I did was I was aware that I don't want to There's a difference between being assertive. Okay, there's a difference between being assertive and there's a difference between being aggressive. All right, I don't want to be aggressive with my kids. Assertive, yes, there's rules. Absolutely. We have structure. We have things that we do need to follow to make the household run. We're a very busy household. But the aggression thing is a whole other thing. And that comes from a place of control. Okay, so what I did was I sat with it after, because then they were off. And I sat with it after. And before I got into the stories of, I'm not a good parent, shit, I shouldn't have said that again. All these things, all these stories that I was telling myself, before I got into that, I stopped myself. And I said, all right, I had a shitty parent moment. This morning wasn't a fun moment for me. I overreacted. I got out of control. All right. And I've observed it. Instead of sitting in it and telling things about myself, I know I'm a good mother. I know I'm a good parent. I know my children love me. But instead, when we get those minimal times when we do have rages, and we sit in it, and then we parent out of guilt. And then A, B, and C comes. It's just a pattern that continues to come up. Okay. So after feeling like a sack of shit for yelling, and instead I sat with it. I sat with holding compassion for myself. I held some compassion for myself and I said, all right, I yelled this morning. I got angry this morning. I said things that I shouldn't have said. Okay, that's awareness. That's the awareness piece. I said something that I shouldn't have said. And by all means, it was, I don't even remember what it was, more of the tone, and I get in that mode and sometimes I'll threaten stuff and it's not good. It doesn't feel good. Okay. But instead of going into shame, instead of going into judgment, I went into compassion. I went into understanding, because the one thing that I do know is I am going to be angry again. I'm going to feel out of control again. But what I wasn't doing before, I wasn't staying present with myself and meeting myself where I was at. I was playing I was the victim. I was the bad mom. I'm the opposite of a bad mom. Okay. And then after I'm aware of what I've done, so I took you through that, I'm aware of what I have done. I give some compassion to myself. All right. I let the energy go through me. I had some tears and I felt bad, and that's awareness, but I didn't judge myself this time. And I don't do this often. I don't yell at the kids often, by all means, but when I do, it doesn't feel good, but I didn't judge myself this time. I can't change what I did and said. I can't change how I parented in that moment. I can't change that. But what I did do was I gave myself permission to experience contrast. I gave myself permission to feel, not be. There's the difference there. To feel shame. Because I was ashamed, I was embarrassed. I'm not shame. Okay, I am a good mom. And then you get to the good parts. And then as time does go on, because we didn't hold in the resentment of self, I didn't label myself this week as a shitty parent. I didn't do that this week. What next time when we feel ourselves, because there are warning signs. We always have warning signs. And when I feel those warnings, I want to feel them. Get to feel, okay, I'm getting heated here. Okay. It's going to be less. It's going to be less. It's not going to be the big blow up person. It's going to be less and less. And I've noticed that in myself. All right. And you can use this with relationships. Like, that's one thing that's guaranteed. We're going to feel pissed off sometimes. And when we're always trying to avoid that, trying to get in peace and trying to, oh my God, like I can't express myself. I can't be in anger. You fucking right, you can be in anger. Raising kids is hard. This isn't easy. This is the toughest, and I've been through some shit in my life. This is the hardest thing I've ever experienced. All right? And we got to let them. And then when I really sat with this and I said, okay, what was it that really triggered me? And I was trying to get my little one dressed, of course, getting off to the bus. And she was pretty much giving me the finger. When I say sassy, she's pretty sassy, but it'll benefit the world when she's in her 20s and 30s. But we were going to be late. We were going to be, and she was mocking me when she does this. Put on your pants. She'll mock me and it just enraged me. It's like, what am I, a child? Well, I'm not a child, but it fired me right up. All right. Now, really, when I sat into this and I allowed myself to feel this and I allowed myself to experience what I experienced, what came in for me was because she was rejecting me. I don't like to be rejected. That comes from abandonment. That comes from, the life that I've lived in being rejected. She, my little one, and her little self, they poke, Our children are the best teachers here. She poked me, and when I got to sit, and although I've forgiven, I've been through, I know I'm very aware of my traumas. I'm very aware, and I've released and I've looked at a lot of that. It still creeps in though, and that's why it's a journey, not a destination. We're not healed. We're spontaneously perfect and healed. It doesn't work like that. That expectation needs to sit on the sidelines. But she was rejecting me. I was trying to control her, and she was rejecting me, and that triggered me. Because it kind of it's in the subconscious. It doesn't come up in the morning and saying, oh, you're going to feel rejection today at this time. But it doesn't work like that. And so once I was able to say, okay, all right. She was rejecting me. She's 4 years old. And yes, she needed to get on the school bus. Did I need to fully dress her? No, you don't want to get dressed? There's your stuff in your pack sack. Get on the bus. She's going to be cold. If she's cold, she knows how to put her stuff on. But I wanted to control everything. I wanted the hat on and mitts on. And it was a little bit cooler this week. Now we need bathing suits, but it's spring, right? But do you see that? I wanted to control. I wanted to control it. And so when I realized that she was saying no, it was no. Okay, you're saying no. All right. You've got some choices here. Either you put on your stuff or I'm bringing you to the bus and your stuff is in your bag. Put your boots on, your stuff is in your bag. She wouldn't have liked that, but I got her dress. That was the anger that arose and that control piece that arose. And of course, we had a little chit chat after school and stuff, and it all works out. This is what it's all about. But that's the piece. That's the lesson. It was the feeling of rejection, that whole thing. And once we start doing this kind of work, when we're triggered by family, when we're triggered at work, when we hate this and hate that, yes, that's the opportunity for you to say, what do I need to do here and what do I need to learn? It's your opportunity. All right. So we've got a couple more minutes here. All right. So this was good. I mean, I hope my microphone and everything was on. I'm sure I'll be chiming in maybe throughout the week, who knows? Again, I'm just kind of going with the flow here. You want to watch it on the replay. I don't know how to do that. I'm going to end this live video and see what happens. I've never done a live before, so it's all new for me, and I'm sure everything will work out. But thank you so much. I'm looking forward to having these conversations, and having these real talks, these real life talks. So who knows what's going to come up next Thursday at noon. Join me here and enjoy your week, enjoy your day, enjoy your evening, and be kind to yourself and be kind to others. All right. Even though we don't understand it, even though we may not agree with loved ones and friends, and there is still room for kindness. All right. I'm going to end it there. All right. I'm sending you all the light, all the love. All right. And hey, if there's a little bit of, I said it last time, I got some responses of the little bit of light, love, and fuck off. We've got to have both. So, but as I'm sending you off, I do energetically send all the wellness, all the love, and all the light. I'll see you next Thursday at noon for Tough Talks. Bye for now.